students. Good morning to one and all. Today we are going to discuss about one more oxidizing reagent. So that is selenium dioxide, right? And selenium dioxide structure SeO2 and Se double bond O double bond O. So selenium having +4 oxidation state, and it is a white crystalline substance, and it is also having a little bit of toxic nature. So that's why while using selenium dioxide we should care about its uses. Why? Because having some little bit of toxic nature, right? And here solvents. What are the solvents? Okay, hydrocarbons we can use. We can dissolve SeO2 in benzene or toluene, just like that. And we can also dissolve SeO2 in polar solvents. So those are ethanol, butanol, and also sometimes we can use again some non-polar solvents like diethyl ether, DHO. All these are so proper solvents for the usage of SeO2 or for dissolving SeO2. Right. And let us see its applications. Okay. So why do we have to use SeO2? So that is its applications. Right. And so what are those applications? So we can oxidize the alpha position of withdrawing group. So that's why here oxidation of alpha position of withdrawing group. Right? And here let us see. So what is the meaning of this title? So alpha position of withdrawing group. For example, let me take a general example. Suppose I have RCH2. Okay, this is the CH function, and it is attached to some withdrawing group. So whenever we are using SeO2, selenium dioxide, right? And this CH group, this activated CH group, this is not. So because of electron withdrawing group, okay, it is activated. So this is called as active CH function, right? And this active CH function, so it is activated by some electron withdrawing group. And finally, whenever we use SeO2, CH2 is converted to C double bond. Right? So what are the withdrawing groups here? Some withdrawing groups, in place of W, I may take C double bond O R dash, C double bond O R dash, and here C double bond O is the electron withdrawing group. To withdraw electrons toward itself. These bonded electrons will be taken by the C double bond O. And so whenever we are using, because of this is activated. Because of this, these hydrogens are highly acidic in nature. So that's why we can say it is active CH functional group, right? And so with the uses of whenever we are using SeO2, so then what is happening? CH2 is converted to C double bond O R dash, right? And here again CH2 is converted to C double bond, right? So simply, so whenever we are doing oxidation of alpha position of withdrawing group, then what kind of product we are getting? We are getting carbonyl compounds. Again we are getting carbonyl compounds. Withdrawing group W may be any withdrawing group, not only C double bond O here, maybe CO or ester, maybe Cl you can take cyanide, maybe NO2 you can take nitrate. Okay, just like that. So any kind of withdrawing group you may take, but so the adjacent CH functional group is always converted to C double bond O. Okay, so this is the functional group. So let us see. So again some more examples. Okay, for example, here I am taking RCH2, C double bond O, CH3. Very interesting, right? And here in this compound, take a look here. So this is alpha methyl group, methylene group, and this is alpha methyl group. This is methylene, this is methyl, right? This is also present at alpha position. This is also present at alpha position, right? So but where the oxidation takes place, is the oxidation taking place at both sides, or is it takes place only at one position? That is we have to decide. So with SeO2, right? Suppose okay, but whenever takes place only at one of the two CH functional groups. One of the two CH functional groups. And of course here I just want to write two products here to make you understand. Here I just want to write two products here. Suppose just imagine here oxidation takes place. Then how can you write the product? R C double bond O and C double bond O and CH3. Suppose just imagine CH3 is not going to oxidize. Okay, CH3 is not reacting, but CH2 is reacting. Then you will get this kind of product, right? And so unlike in another case, okay, in another case, what we are thinking. So suppose CH2 is not going to react, but CH3 is reacting. Then also we can write one more product for that. So then in that case, I can write CH2. CH2 is not influenced. So then C double bond O. CH3 is converted to C double bond OH. C double bond OH, right? And this is. But among these two products, which is major product? Okay, so this one is the major product, which means that oxidation readily takes place at CH2 rather than CH3. What is the reason for that? Okay, and the reason mainly involved in this conversion is that so the enolate ion, here the reaction takes place to the enolate anion formation, but here the enolate anion which is forming from CH2 is more stable than the metal. For example, suppose here I am writing enolate anion for this one. How do you write enolate anion? So here one hydrogen involved in the conjugation with this C double bond O, one sigma bond, right? And here, so by the hyperconjugation concept, we can write RCH as CH double bond COH and CH3 here, right? And here. So this double bond having, this double bond having more substitution according to hyperconjugation rule. So more substituted olefins are more stable, right? This is more stable. This is more stable enol. This is more stable enol. So what is the reason for that? So hyperconjugation. According to hyperconjugation. So the enol which is formed from the CH2 is more stable in this case. Suppose you can also write enol from this one. You can also write enol from this one. If you write like that, right? So without affecting double bond, without involving double bond CH2, so then here we can write again double bond. Suppose CH2, and this is also, take a look here. So this is also double bond. This double bond is generated from the methyl group, but this double bond is generated from the methane group. So in this process, what is happening? This double bond, take a look. So just clearly observe, right? So observe. Just focus on these two double bonds here. This double bond is attached to just only one hydrogen. This double bond is attached to two hydrogens here, right? So any double bond which is having less number of hydrogen atoms means that having more number of substituents, which means that here R means CH3. Here R means, suppose in place of R you can take CH3. So with CH3 you can write more and more number of hyperconjugated structures. But here with CH2 you can't write more and more number of hyperconjugated structures. So that's why. So this is less stable. That's why this is less stable. This way. This is more stable. So that's why. So whenever there is a competition between two alpha carbon atoms or two alpha CH functional groups, so then what we have to do is that, so we have to look where the stable enol is formed. Okay, there the oxidation is taking place. So in this case here, so enolate anion is more and more stable. That's why CH2 will take first priority. That's why this is the major product. Okay, so that is the concept involved in this, right? And having all this knowledge, okay, right? Let us take one more example for that. Suppose I have a compound like this. So one more example for that. Suppose I am taking CH3, C double bond O, CH3, and C double bond O CH3. Suppose I am taking acetone. I am taking acetone. So if I do oxidation with SiO2, then what is happening? So and here this is alpha carbon, this is alpha carbon, this is CH function. So according to SiO2, what is happening? So it has to be reacted. Here those two cases, this is also metal, this is also metal. So that's why here those two are undergoing oxidation with SiO2. But then what we are getting the product is CH3 is converted to HC double bond. Again one C double bond is present, and again this CH3 is also converted to C double bond OH. So this is HC double bond O, this is HC double bond O, right? And here, but here the product formation is unstable. Okay, unstable. Why? Because 1, 2, 3 tritketone. 1, 2, 3 tritketone is unstable. Why? Because of steric repulsions. So what is the reason for that? Because of some steric repulsions. What is happening? So this kind of product is unstable. So that's why here we should not write this kind of product. We have to write. So only with one methyl group undergo oxidation. So that's why one of the methyl group will be constant, and okay. So only one will react. This is the major product and this is the minor product. Okay, that is also you have to understand while doing these applications, right? And next, let us see its mechanism. For that. Okay, right? And here its mechanism. How do we get such kind of product? So we can understand by taking its mechanism, right? And here, so first take a general compound R CH2 C double bond O R dash is converted to R C double bond O C double bond O R dash, right? Let us see its mechanism. First write, okay, and step one, take SiO2, that is Sc double bond O. So if it is reacting with water, right, then we get selenious acid. Step one is formation of selenious acid, right? And here, so OH, SeOH and double bond O. This is called as selenious acid. Right? Now the selenious acid is reacting with the enol of the reactant, right? So take the enol form of the reactant in step 2. I am taking RCH2 C double bond O R dash, and its enol form is right, RCH double bond COH and R dash, right? Now it is reacting with selenious acid, right? And here, so take selenious acid SeOH double bond OH. So whenever these two are reacting together, then there is an elimination of water. Okay, there is an elimination of water. So water will be eliminated and can form a bond between oxygen and selenium. So that's why here I can write CH double bond. Okay, it's right. CO and double bond CH R and R dash. O is attached to SE is attached to double bond OH. SE is attached to double bond OH. This is the first step, right? And here, next what is happening? So this bond is forming a C double bond over here, and this bond is shifting toward SCO, selenium, and this bond is again bonded with the CH. So then we get one product, that is R dash hydrogen and SeO, selenium and SeO, right? SeO, Se bond between oxygen and carbon, right? OSe and OH, OSe and OH. Take a look here. Now from this, so loss of H plus ion can produce, okay, the loss of H plus ion from this product, the loss of H plus ion will produce our desired product. So that is, okay, if H plus ion is going to lose, so then we get R dash C double bond O and C double bond O R plus Se in zero oxidation state plus water H plus and OH minus will be departed as water, right? So and have a look here. So we started with the +4 oxidation state, okay? So we started with the +4 oxidation state, but during the course of reaction we are getting 0 oxidation state for the selenium. So like that we can synthesize its mechanism. We can synthesize the products like that, right? So this is the main mechanism involved in conversion of, okay, alpha position adjacent to with the triangle, right? So what is the first application? Oxidation of alpha position with the triangle into its corresponding carbonyl compound. So that is the first application, right? Next. So having all this knowledge, again we are going to discuss about second application. Let us see its second application. So that is second application. So that is oxidation of allylic alcohols. So allylic compounds, for example, if you take any allylic compound, right? If you take any allylic compound or benzylic compound, so it is converted to allylic alcohol. It is converted to allylic alcohol. Allylic and benzylic compounds. Allylic and benzylic compounds. Allylic and benzylic compounds, right? And here. So what we have to understand is allylic alcohol mainly allylic compound. Whenever we are using FeO2, it is mainly converted to allylic alcohol. It is mainly converted to allylic alcohol. Right? For example, let us see one example for that. Right? Suppose I am taking allylic compound that is just like CH3. Right? So if I do oxidation with SeO2, then it is converted to double bond CH2OH. This is allylic alcohol. Okay? This has to be achieved, okay, with the help of SeO2, right? And here, for example, suppose, okay, let us see its mechanism again. For example, and here, let us see its mechanism, right? So this mechanism taking place. So in reaction, first of all, and also involved with 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. These two we have to do, right? And the sigmatropic rearrangement. So first take the compound, so double bond CH3, right? And here, whenever it is reacting with Se double bond, here SeO2 directly reacting with the allylic compound. Here SeO2 directly reacting with the allylic compound, right? And here, so and CH3, how it is converted? CH3, okay, CH3 So and here hydrogen will be taken by the oxygen atom, right? And hydrogen will be taken by the oxygen atom, and this bond is shifted like this, and this bond is shifted like this, right? So finally, doing all this, what we are getting? So double bond here, and double bond here, double bond CH2, and CH2 is attached to double bond CH2, and so this CH2 is attached to oxygen, CH2 is attached to oxygen, oxygen is attached to selenium, selenium is attached to double bond O and OH, double bond O, OH. This is the initial step that is happening, right? Double bond CH2 O SCA, double bond O OH here, right? And having all this knowledge, right? So 1, 2, 3, give numbering, right? Allylic carbon will take first priority, and then for second, and then for 3. And here, so this is also 1, 2, right? And here, you know, so 2, 3 sigma 2 rearrangement takes place. From these two, what we are doing, 2, 3 sigma 2 rearrangement takes place from this compound, right? So then, after this, what is happening, right? So this pi bond is reacting with the carbon. Then this pi bond is moving like this. So then we get O minus. So O minus, okay, that is O minus will take H plus carbon, right? And then so we can achieve carbon here, oxygen here, and double bond here. Oxygen is attached to selenium here. Selenium is attached to, okay, selenium is attached to OH here. Okay, selenium is attached to OH here. O minus is converted to OH, and again already OH is present like this, right? Now from this, so this is again converted to, okay, from this is again converted to alcohol, right? This one, if you move this sigma bond toward oxygen atom, then you will get O minus. O minus will take this H plus N and is converted to OH. So after this, we are achieving Se double bond O and OH here. So from this also unstable again. So it is reacting with the water. Finally, elimination of water takes place, and then so Se having zero oxidation state. Okay, so zero oxidation state. This is the process finally. So the total process happening in this step only, right? And so this is about the conversion of oxidation of allylic and benzylic compounds. In the same manner, not only allylic compounds, even if you have taken benzylic compounds, those compounds also involved in the same mechanism, right? Let us see some examples here, right? And here, so one more point we need to remember here. Suppose if you want to oxidize allylic alcohols with different compounds, then we need to follow some rules, right? And so let us see what are the rules we need to follow in oxidation of allylic compounds, right? And rule number 1. Suppose if you take some rules, okay. Suppose here I am taking rule number 1. So what is the rule number 1? Rule number 1. So in case of tri-substituted olefins, suppose here I am taking some tri-substituted, okay, olefins, right? And this is CH3 here, and this is CH3 here, and hydrogen here, and hydrogen here, right? And if you can use SuO2, where we have to oxidize this compound, and here this compound having so 3 allylic carbons. This compound having 3 allylic carbons. One is just like methyl group here, this is methyl group here, right? So then we will get some confusion. Okay, in doing oxidation we will get some confusion. But so rule number 1 is telling that so in case of tri-substituted olefins, we have to oxidize only at more substituted carbon. So among these 3, so this is the more substituted carbon. That's why here oxidation So this is right. So this is rule number 1. So allylic alcohol, we get allylic alcohol. Only oxidation takes place at only one of the 3 allylic carbons, but that is only at more substituted carbon, right? And second rule, if there is competition between primary, secondary and tertiary compounds, primary, secondary, tertiary carbons are involved, right? So in your compound you have primary allylic carbon, secondary allylic carbon, tertiary allylic carbon. So then what is the rule? Then we have to prefer secondary greater than primary greater than tertiary, right? Then we have to follow. So one rule, that is secondary greater than primary greater than tertiary. For example, suppose we are having a compound like this, CH3 and CH3 and CH2, right? CH3, CH2, CH3 and CH3 here, right? Hydrogen here. And take a look here. So this is primary. This is primary allylic compound. This is secondary. And this is primary also. Okay. But in this case, whenever we are using SiO2, then oxidation takes place at secondary carbon. According to this rule, secondary greater than, primary greater than tertiary. So secondary carbon undergo oxidation with SiO2. So then we are getting the product is OH here and CH3 here and hydrogen here and CH3 here. So these two are not reacting, right? This is the rule number 2. Suppose in case of if 2 rules are involved in the compound, if there is a competition between first rule and second rule, right? For example, suppose you have a compound like this, OH here and CH3 here and CH3 here, and take a look here. So this is primary, this is also primary, this is also secondary, but and here according to second rule, oxidation must be taking place at only here, so must be occur at this position. But according to first rule, right, the oxidation takes place only at this carbon. Why? Because this carbon is more substituted carbon, right? So when we get this kind of confusion, then don't worry about it. So rule 1, take first priority, then rule 2, okay? So rule 1 taking first priority, then rule 2. This is the rule we need to follow here. So that's why oxidation takes place only at this position. So when you oxidize with SiO2, what is the product here? The product is CH2OH, CH3. One of the CH3 groups is converted to CH2, OH and CH3 and hydrogen and CH2, OH. Right? Sorry. So this is CH2, CH3, CH2, CH3 here. This is secondary, this is primary. But we are following rule number 1, so that's why oxidation takes place at this carbon only. So these are the rules we need to follow, right? So some more rules are present, but due to lack of time, so we will discuss in another video, right? So thank you so much. Okay.